Welcome to Life Gloss, a beauty podcast for sassy and seasoned women who have lived life and have a drawer full of lip gloss to prove it. We're your hosts, Susan Gerdeman
and Hillary Clark Mina. Join us each Thursday as we discuss life and how it relates to the world of beauty inside and out.
You know, Hill, the world that we live in today is extremely divisive. But believe it or not, the world of beauty is also extremely divisive. But, you know, since you and I come from a place of beauty and kindness, we love to agree to disagree, all in the name of beauty. Love and lip gloss.
So does that mean that we're going to put up our dukes for this episode, which I think we perfectly called Divisive Devices, because there is a war out there about all of our facial, body, skin, and hair devices. It's easy to get overwhelmed, and people actually fight about this stuff.
You know, I think that a lot of these at-home devices are so exciting, and there's such an allure to be tempted into spending a lot of dollars, a lot of hard-earned cash on some of these products. And are they gimmicky? Are they things that are just as good at home as they are in office? So when you go into a spa, or, you know, you go into a derm's office and you get a procedure done, or you have, say, some light therapy done, or some type of a microfacial or a dermafacial, or anything that you have done, dermaplaning, etc. At times you say to yourself, wow, this is a lot of money, and this is something I have to sort of keep up, and should I keep going? And is this something that I could maybe do at home? So now, as you're scrolling through the mall of Instagram at night and you're looking online, you're starting to see all these devices. And we're seeing the red light masks, we're seeing the gouaches, we're seeing the tools, and, you know, everything that's used in offices available at home, but not at a small price. Some of them are really expensive, some of them more affordable. So I think we want to sort of unpack all this today and kind of say, you know, what is so divisive about these devices? Should we be using these? Are they just as good as what we can get done professionally? Or do we save our dollars?
Right. This one has been a long time coming, because you and I have been chatting for years, literally, about this, like what's coming out, what's new, what are we doing? And, you know, as people that live in the beauty world, that rely on these devices, and also still see real people and real clients, I think it's important that we break it down, because I see 50% of women that make miraculous changes in their skin because they're consistent with what they do at home daily with devices, with their hands. I also see 50% of women that have egregiously terrorized and damaged their skin with some of these at-home devices and by overdoing it. So
yeah, and
this is important to talk about.
I think you bring up a great point there. Consistency. I think anything that we're going to talk about today, people need to realize there has to be consistency. It's like how you eat or how you exercise or whatever you're doing for your body and yourself. It's the same thing with beauty. If you're consistent in what you're doing, you see the results, right? And that's anything from what you're doing at home to what you're having done in the office.
Right.
That being said, though, I think there's a way to do it that's affordable. And I think there's a way to do it that is maybe a little bit more expensive. And I think it's up to you, right? I mean, you have to sort of say to yourself, what effort do I want to put in? How much do I want to spend to look and feel my best? So let's kind of break this down. So I first want to talk about procedures that we've both had done in a medical office or in a derm's office or even at a facialist, and what we're actually doing at home as well. So procedures and things that you've had done in a spa or at the office that you really like to do, Hill?
You know, I love to do microneedling with PRP. And I take a little PRP home with me. I don't know, a little bit of my fluid home with me, and I continue to apply that. She also does a little bit of thermal therapy where they just lightly singe the surface of your skin with the metal for tightening on my lids. She
Nice.
does that combination. I'm liking that more than a hardcore laser for my skin. I started to feel like laser might be thinning, and I was doing Fraxel. I was doing more of the intense lasers. PRP, while there is some recovery, I
Mhm.
feel better about it in a series. I love doing that in a spa environment. Oh, I have to tell you, the lymphatic drainage massages, the
Yes.
deep tissue for the face. And when I say deep tissue for the face, I'm not talking about Swedish. I'm talking about where they go inside of your mouth and
Right.
massage and move tissue
Yes.
from the inside. So for
Yes.
the face, that deep inside the mouth massage,
Yes.
also moving, breaking up the fascia around the scalp helps
Right.
to actually lift my hooded little eyes. And there is nothing for my body that my body likes more than a good 90-minute lymphatic drainage massage.
I'm with you, sister. I love nothing more than a massage, like full on, full body lymphatic drainage massage is exquisite. That's something that I think you can't do at home. I mean, you can have someone come to your house, but I think investing the money in that for me, full body, because that's something I can't do myself. So paying someone for that service, I don't mind. And I absolutely love lymphatic drainage massage. I love it for the face, I love it for the body. I'm like you. I love a good facial. I love a good microderm. I love a good, facial peel, things like that. But I find that as I'm getting older, and I think you brought this up, the thinning of the skin, I do love IPL. I do that once a year. And I do notice great results with that. But I think we have to be careful, how much we're doing. And, we've talked about this over the years, doing too much, the thinning of the skin, the abuse of the skin. So we have to be careful. And that goes for the procedures that you have done in a doctor's office or at a derm's office. Um, are very different than what you could do at home. So please keep in mind, listeners, when we're talking about some of these tools or some of these products, be very careful, be very cautious. I think that we can sometimes do more damage to our skin than good. So some of the tools that I really like, and this is where we're going to get a little divisive, I tend to like simplicity and I tend to like ease. I don't have a lot of time, and I just feel like when I go to a spa or if I go to a derm's office, that's special and it feels great. But at home, I keep it simple. So the two tools that I like to use at home that are the most important for me are a gua sha for facial massage and a face roller because it feels good. And that's kind of what I do. I haven't really gone into the world of a lot of these other big devices, the microcurrent devices, the red light therapy devices. I'm not opposed to them, Hill, and I want to hear what you have to say about them. But for where I'm at now, I can get great results, great lymphatic drainage, great tightness on the skin using a gua sha, even using my hands for facial massage and a facial roller. Quite frankly, I don't think the facial roller does much except just really relaxes me and feels good. But the actual gua sha, I do notice a difference. I feel like things look less puffy and things look a lot firmer after I do it. I find my products go in nicely. It could be psychological. I could probably just use my hands to do a face massage, or face massage. Sorry. Um, but I don't know. As far as the expensive tools go, I'm sort of a simple girl, believe it or not, when it comes to devices. I like simplicity.
Amen, sister. I know we're supposed to be divisive here, but I think we're just kind of breaking it down for people that want what they want and what fits their lifestyle. I mean, I put a steel roller on a skincare tube. So I'm all
Right.
about the gua sha
Yep.
and the rollers. I'm going to
Yep.
talk to you about how you're rolling though, because I think you can get more from a roller too. We'll
Okay.
we'll circle
Okay.
back to that one other day.
Okay. You mean I can't do
Anyway,
Netflix and roll?
yes, you can. You just
Okay.
follow the path to your lymph nodes. Mhm.
Follow the path to your lymph nodes. That should be a t-shirt.
Yes,
Just follow the
exactly.
path to your lymph
And
nodes.
your lymphatic channels are not a two-way street, so you can't go back and forth. They're a one direction kind of deal. So
That's
anyway,
True.
So it feels good to go back and forth, but you need to be sweeping out and down because it's like sweeping water
Oh.
off your porch. If you're going back and forth because it feels good, you're just trapping fluid. So you got to keep it moving.
Oh.
hmm I'll show
See,
you.
that's my problem. This is such an analogy for my life. I just keep going back and forth and I get trapped and stagnant. I was like, oh my God, my facial roller is my life. I'm just trapped and stagnant. That's a
Isn't it,
great tip, though.
isn't it so revealing? Yes,
It's
because you
so
always
revealing.
want, yeah, you want to be sweeping, from the center of your face out
Oh,
and down towards your lymph nodes at the base of your ears, your collarbones, and then, of course, towards your armpits and your groin. So, yeah, going back and forth with a roller feels good, but there are little villi in our lymphatic capillaries because it's a waste management system and you don't want the garbage going back up the capillaries. So you want to keep that interstitial fluid moving out. So you want to sweep outwards and down, and you'll notice that it will chisel and sculpt.
oh my God, you're like the Department of Sanitation for the face
Totally.
pill. Like,
Just
you
call
need to
me the
sweep it
garbage
out.
lady.
You need to get the garbage out. It's garbage day. Grab your roller. Okay, got it, got it, got it. But that's a great tip, Hel. Like because I do that with my dry brush. I always know, to brush one way. Isn't that funny? Because I do like dry brushing for the body. I will do that. And I know how you're supposed to go one way, but I never thought about that and I do it with my gua sha. I do. I go one way with the gua sha. But with the facial roller, I was going back and forth like I was paving a street. Like, I think I was like subconsciously like, if I go back and forth enough, I'll just rub away those facial wrinkles. But wow, I never thought of that. See why we do this podcast? So we can learn from each other. See? I love
We're
that.
always we're always learning from each other. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
call the garbage lady when
You're
it comes to lymphatic drainage.
we're like the garbage ladies of beauty. Okay. I like this. I like this.
I have
Okay.
a photo for that. I'm going to post on social of us.
I love it. I love it.
It's
Okay,
so good.
so we're divisive, but we both agree that gouaches, hands, facial rollers help with lymphatic drainage. God, say that 10 times fast. Help with lymphatic drainage, help tighten, and just really feel good on the skin too. But this is where we get divisive. You really like these zip zaggy zoodles and red lights and things that beep, and you like the R2D2 stuff. I haven't gotten into that world. So tell me why I need to enter this world, or do I need to enter this world?
Well, this is how you decide if you need to enter this world. Will you do it? How committed are you, Judy Jetson, to
Yeah,
doing this stuff on a
yeah,
regular basis? Because
yeah.
if you won't, and this is one thing that I will tell you, if you will not do it, then you're just wasting your money. You're
That mask
wasting,
is going to
you
get
know,
dusty. Yeah,
yeah, you're wasting
yeah.
40, 50, $60, all the way up to thousands of dollars. And
Thousands.
there's
Some of those masks are expensive.
Yeah, and nothing's going to piss you off more than looking at a $600 to $1,200 device, or all the way up to $2,600 if you're going to start
Correct.
doing lasers,
Right.
and just sitting there, and it's gonna tick you off. So you
Okay.
have to decide if you can commit, if you have the time, if you have the lifestyle, and sometimes that means test driving a less expensive device first.
That's so
Baby
true.
step baby
Yeah.
step in with something that's cost effective. Like, get one of those little miniature red lights. I don't love them because they get hot. I have a whole theory. They're the little ones that are warm and they vibrate with the red light. And you see them
Yes.
all over like TikTok shop and
Yeah, they
Instagram and
just
stuff.
don't look safe. Like I don't want to blow my face up. Like
You
I, I
know,
I get a little concerned with some of the safety with some of these products. Like my gua sha is stone, it's safe. My face roller is stainless, it's safe, right?
right.
But some of these red lights and some of these zip products, and I don't know, I just think we have to sort of proceed with caution with some of these devices. Like, is some of this stuff just best left for the professionals? Or is some of this really that good that we do need it at home?
Here's another way to determine if you are someone that would classify yourself as technically like OCD. You don't have to have been medically diagnosed with OCD. Don't come after me, people. There are no PC police here. Okay. We're talking
No,
real
no, no,
deal.
no, no,
But
no.
I see
We're
women
not
with,
PC.
yeah, I see women particularly with at home microdermabrasion and at home microneedling. That's where I see huge problems. Women that
Yeah,
think if a little is good,
a
um,
lot is better. Yeah,
women that think if a little is good, more is better. And they come in and they're like, I just, I exfoliate and I do my microderm all the time, but my skin, it's just still so dry. It has like this, it's so dry and flaky. And I'm like, girl, it's not dry. That's a micro scab. You have
right.
injured your skin,
Yeah,
and keeping it in a constant state of inflammation is not going to do you any favors, because you're
no.
not building collagen, you're building scabs and you're depleting collagen underneath. So you want to
Right.
go easy does it with a microderm and the microneedling. I have a big bone to pick with a lot of at-home microneedling devices because
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't like them at all.
they're unsanitary. They go
Very.
in sideways. The
Yep.
channels aren't great. I don't care. Even if you have watts and you have, the UV and all of the light and you're putting them in the light box after you use them, I don't fully trust it. I also don't fully trust putting serums in the skin after a microneedling. I do PRP only. I don't want anything in my skin. And even if they say it's organic, it's clean, it's this, it's that, it still has preservatives in it.
I
It's like,
agree. I
I don't
agree.
like it.
I
I
agree
don't
with you.
like it.
Michelle. I mean, I don't think we're divisive at all on that. I remember the first time I saw one of those torture device rollers, and they're saying, oh, damage the, stratum corneum, get on the top layer of the skin, and your product will go in better. And I thought to myself, what you're doing is you're creating a nice little haven for bacteria to go in there and cause some serious issues. Again, I think when you're talking about certain tools, certain devices, that's probably best left to the professionals.
Hmm.
Anytime you're piercing the skin, anytime there could be, blood involved, I think you're really talking about being in a medical environment. And that's just
Absolutely.
what I believe. Call me old fashioned, but I really think we need to be so careful what we're doing to our skin.
And, we want to hear from those of you that are successfully microneedling at home. Talk to us. Tell us
Yeah,
about it. Tell us what you're doing. We want to learn from you, but
sure.
I know what goes on in my bathroom,
Right.
and I know how careful I am and how clean it is, but I still know what goes on in there, and it is not a medically sterile environment, and it's
Correct.
not an environment that I want to be poking holes in my face.
I agree.
So I leave my microneedling
Yeah.
to the professionals, and
Yeah.
microdermabrasion, I'm sorry, but after a certain age and even in my 20s, I noticed that microdermabrasion was causing me broken capillaries. So
Yeah.
there are better ways to exfoliate.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
true. That's true. I think
What I
one way you and I both really like, and we both had this done professionally, and we continue to do it at home, is dermaplaning.
Yes, but
Um,
before we talk about dermaplaning, I want to talk about the things because I've been a big negative Nelly about home devices. So, two things that I do love. I love the the Thera body, the Thera face mask. It's expensive,
Mhm.
but if you do a training wheel trial with red light therapy, if you get one of those little inexpensive red light therapy things and you find you can be consistent and you like it, I would upgrade to the TheraFace mask, because the little tiny handheld ones, you can't
Right.
really get a large surface area.
Yeah.
Again, I don't like the fact that it heats. I think that totally stimulates tyronase production, melanocyte production.
Right.
Heat, dark spots, don't like it.
Yeah,
And the
I
red
agree.
light, it's contraindicated for me.
Right.
But the TheraFace, it gives you three different light settings. You can wear it. I've had some really good results with it.
Really?
So yeah, and scientifically, it's got some of the best lights.
Because
So
I've been, that's the one, let's say, at home device that I've probably been the most interested in, um, is a red light. I haven't made that step yet into it. Because I do think I agree with you. It's a commitment and it's something that you have to really stay with it to notice the results. But I'm open to it. I'm open
Yeah.
to that one. The one I'm not open to, because I know I'm not going to do it. And quite frankly, I'd rather save my dollars and eventually just go in and do surgery for a lift is the microcurrents. I know everybody loves them. Everyone's super into them. You've actually given me a microcurrent facial before in the past, 100 years ago, and I love them and I love the facials, but doing it at home every day is a huge commitment. And I just don't know after a certain age if there's enough microcurrent in that machine to help keep things as tight as I want. So I am not sold on those. I'm just not. So prove me wrong.
Well, the microcurrent, I think the barrier to entry, if you will, or the barrier to commitment with microcurrent is the conductive gel. You have to put your hair back. You have to slather it on. You have to lube
Yep.
it up. Like, I mean, come on,
That's a
we're
lot.
we're lubing enough stuff at this point, right? Like the last thing
Yeah,
we
I,
want to do
I,
is a
I,
whole
I'm,
nother
I'm,
thing.
I'm good on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's,
So,
there's other areas that
right,
we can talk
right.
about for that, but I think with
But
the face,
if
no.
you if you're consistent, you will see a result. It's great for some people whose eyelids are starting to drop and they can't live with it and they want to work on that area. But you have to do it 3 to 5 times a week. You have to do it consistently. I do love my zip. I notice a difference
I,
in my with my
yeah,
zip when I do it. I just have a problem with commitment there, and I have a problem doing it. My red light mask, I can put on and sit around and do
yeah.
nothing. The zip is work and it's messy, and I have to think
See,
about my hair. So I don't
that's
do it there. However, I will for my zippers out there. Here's an extra tip. If you massage your scalp and the muscles at the back of your neck, a lot of the tight fascia and a lot of the tight muscles there, if you loosen up the scalp and the back of your neck, that's also going to help to lift the eye and the jaw. So if you are committed to your zip, that's a little tip that will help with the lift.
yeah. I think you just, I'm exhausted already just listening to all the steps and all the
I
things
know.
I have to do. I feel like I
I
need to take a
know.
nap. Like I
I
need a
know.
nap now. I mean,
Hmm.
I love that we can get into this and talk about these tools, but I just know at night when I'm doing my skincare, if I can take a couple of minutes and do the gua sha, it feels good. I notice a difference. Like I said, especially during allergy season, I do it in the morning. Sometimes it feels good. I know it helps with puffiness. But now you're like, oh, we've got the zip and the this and this. It just, I'm already tired thinking about all this stuff. And that could just be me. And I am so committed to whatever I go all in on, I go all in on. But if I feel like I can cheat a little bit and have a procedure done in an office and I'm going to get better results from with less input from me, I feel like I'm just going to go that way. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's so divisive, right? I mean, I get it. I know why some people have the time and the energy and the dollars and they want to do every toy in the toy box. But I'm just coming from a place of if I can get my teeth flossed and brushed and my skincare on and feeling and looking good, I'm good. I'm good with a little massage. I'm good with that. Let's talk about dermaplaning for a minute because I think that's something that you and I have both done professionally. I love it. Your skin feels so good after it. And then I just thought, you know what? I have such a steady hand and I can do this at home. So that's one thing that I've actually been doing at home that I enjoy doing. But I think we should talk about it for a minute because you need to be so careful and hygienic. So when I do my dermaplaning, I go to my Asian grocery store. I get a big pack of the single disposable use. I know, plastic, blah, blah, blah. But single use, light hand, and I've learned how to do it very carefully. I love the results of it. It's really inexpensive, and I'm kind of a fan of dermaplaning. I do love getting it professionally done because wow, they do such a better job than me. But for at-home maintenance, I
Isn't
like it.
it ironic? Isn't it ironic we tell people don't stick needles in your face and don't sandblast your face at home, but pick up the razor.
But you can shave your face.
The irony is not lost on us. And actually, Kathy Fields was one of the first ones. She was my
Yes.
dermatologist in San
Yes.
Francisco forever. And
Yes,
she was
Dr.
one of the
Fields.
first,
Yep.
she
Yep.
was one of the she was one of the first ones that told me, Hillary, the best exfoliation is shaving your face. And
Yeah.
I thought she
I
had
know.
lost it.
I know. Remember the first time we heard about this? It was like,
Yeah,
why are all these women doing this? Like, what is this? But then when you get to a certain age and you start to develop a little bit of peach fuzz on your face, you kind of say, wow, like, will it come back thicker and darker? No, it does not. So don't be afraid to dermaplane.
right. Yeah, exactly. It seemed insane, right? Now, here's one thing you don't want to pick up your mock razor, the one you're using on your legs or your husband's razor, because that has that little green or blue bar of chemicals that are not super friendly for a woman's face. And just remember, when you're shaving, you're revealing fresh new skin. So you don't want to chase it with like something like so strong and heavily fragranced also. So it might feel okay on your legs, even your bikini, but it's not going to feel great on your face. I too, Susan, have like the little individual um, razors from, the Mediterranean store. You can get them anywhere, Asian, Mediterranean, you can get them anywhere. I think they're great. In a pinch, they're okay. I prefer for myself, I like the ones that have a little vibration because I feel like I don't have to worry about getting so chapped. One other, and I have two. So I have like the Derma Flash, and then there's also this new Flawless one. I'm going to open it and try it today. It's the cheaper version of the Derma Flash because, I'm always trying to save us a buck. For me, I like the vibration. I feel like it's a little more gentle than the actual just drawing it down. Plus, for my skin, I like to dermaplane on top of oil. A lot of people don't dermaplane, they raw dog it. I
Ooh.
find for me, I get really chapped if I do that. How about you?
I agree. I think, I don't do it often. I'll be honest, maybe once a month, if that. Sometimes I'll skip. It just depends. I have very fair hair. So, I it's more of a feel factor for me. It just feels so smooth and feels so nice, especially after I have it done professionally. But for at home, there's a couple that I use. I do like to use a little bit of oil like you or a little bit of moisturizer. I think if it's dry, you'll definitely get dry skin and it can hurt. I love the disposable wands. Those are fantastic. But I also have this little battery operated one. I think I got on Amazon and I use that one too. It's um kind of like a electric shaver. Yes, but it's just I do use
Yeah.
this little battery operated one and it's like a little electric razor. It doesn't get as close, I'm not going to lie, but it does its surface and it's good for someone who's afraid they might cut themselves or doesn't feel steady when doing the dermaplaning. Again, I think you'll agree with me, Hill, when you're going into this world of devices, try some of these procedures in a professional setting first. Ask the questions from the experts, see how they're doing it, and ask them what you can do at home as well. And they might have some tips and advice for you. But I think we need to be careful.
That's a great tip, Susan, because for dermaplaning, I do highly recommend having it done professionally first, because then you know what feels right. Because for us, especially as we get a little bit older, we get more peach fuzz. I mean, I have little hairs on my chinny chin chin that I've named. It's like there's some serious action going on down there. But we have to learn, and they will teach you, how to hold the skin without pulling the skin, and you'll feel that you actually need to go in different directions. We're not like men. We're not going to be shaving like a man. So while it's not complicated, it's good to have a professional do it first, because once you felt someone do it to you, you're more likely to be able to remember that sensation, and you kind of know what the limits are, and you know what feels good to you. So yeah, it's one of those things that having it done professionally first is always a great idea.
So I think we've covered a lot. I think we've talked about what we're in agreement with, what we're divisive on. I think some of the big takeaways from this episode on devices is try it in a professional setting first, then do it at home. Start out with inexpensive things, start out with the gouaches or the rollers. And then if you know you're going to commit to some of these other tools, you can move into the red lights, you can move into the zips and the microcurrent tools. But like Hillary and I have discussed, you need to take a look at what works for you. And commitment is key. None of these devices will work if you use them once in a while. And that's anything. But if you are committed, you will get the results that you want. So you've got to be really honest with yourself on some of this. Don't go out and spend thousands of dollars, do it once and expect to look 17 again. It doesn't work like that, friends. Beauty is not for the lazy. Beauty is not for the weak of heart. You've got to put a little effort into things if you want to get the results. But I think something that we can both agree on, Hill, the old Joan Crawford trick is probably one of the best and completely free. Get a big old bowl, sit at your kitchen table, fill it with ice and cold water, stick your face in for as long as you can hold your breath, come on back out, and really talk about some help with depuffing and tightening of the skin. It's so great. Joan was right. Ice water is amazing.
It is amazing. And the good old fashioned tips, it's true. Sometimes they are the best. We're looking at the rollers. We're going way back millennia, looking at rollers and gua sha. I heard something interesting before we wrap up about ice. And listeners, you guys might want to, weigh in on this and tell us what you think. I heard that the ice bath for the face, you can also put the hands or just the feet in as well. And that covers every bit of your body. You know how people do cryotherapy and they do the full body ice dips? Well, if you don't have the tub, or if you don't have the gumption to jump in an ice cold shower or bath, I heard that you can shortcut face and palms will cover, because the pressure points in your hands and your feet. You could do face, palms, or the palms of your feet in ice water, and you get a little cryotherapy at the same time. Is this true? Does anybody know?
I have no idea, but I've actually heard the same thing. If you can just get your face and your hands in the cold, you can get benefits through your whole system. So if any of our listeners out there know the facts on this, and we're not talking about cold plunging and, all that stuff, but just, can you get the benefits, full body benefits from cold therapy by just doing your face and hands? If that's true, I'm doing that every day, because I do
Yeah.
notice, especially in allergy season, I start every day and I think of Joan, and I put my face in water and ice and come back up, and it makes a huge difference, and it's free. So try it, try it. Sometimes the old ways, sometimes the old fashioned ways are the best ways.
And we love free.
We love free. Come on.
Yeah.
There's so few things in this world, in this divisive world that we live in, that are actually free. So,
Mhm.
let's go for it. Let's do it.
Beautiful. Well, tell us. We want to hear from you guys. Let us know what you commit to, what you're divisive about, and what you think about the mini dip. I'll call it like a mini skinny dip, something like that.
Mini.
Yeah, mini skinny dip. So, as always, you can find us on all of our socials: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook at Life Gloss. And our website is lifegloss.com, but it's life-gloss.com. And as usual, Susan, Stay glossy.
Stay glossy, Hill. See you next
And
week.
see you next week.